All right. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Silat on Wednesday, May 6th. Chinese, Filipino, Thai, Indonesian, French and Dog Brothers, Japanese. Okay. We're gonna really work the stand-up domain this evening, and Gene's gonna jump in and jump out. And I'm gonna do what I've been trying to do better over the last few weeks, which is acknowledge reality where most of you are training by yourselves. So let me make sure that the focus is not only on showing you the application of the movements, but that so you can work on it by yourselves, because that's the reality that you're dealing with, in the next 45 minutes. So, and that's fine. So let's everybody get in a left lead. Everybody get in a left lead. And let's do this very important review again, okay? So split, right? Right hand puts a lid on it, left hand attacks. Now, if you came in at the end of the kids program, you probably saw all my split entry work. I do it with closed fists. I don't teach eye jabs or bujies or sungabs to children, okay? Because I'll share this story again super quickly. Guru Inasanto has been attacked twice, I think he said, by people with baseball bats who were really trying to cause him harm, and he got hit, albeit glancing, towards in like the orbital socket area twice with a baseball bat. He thinks that hurts less than the times in class where he accidentally got hit with an eye jab in training. Just let that, that's a really important piece of intel, everybody. In training, we're not talking about somebody trying to harm him, like somebody who did that and then, oh my goodness, I'm sorry, like that energy. He believes that the eye jab, according to him, it hurt worse than somebody like swinging for the fences with a blunt impact weapon. Based on that, I am willing to test an awful lot of things in my life. That's why I'm a dog brother and why I'm still fighting dog brothers. I am not willing to test that. I'm going to take Guru Inasanto's word. So I don't teach eye jabs or bujies or sunga, whatever you call them. I don't teach those in my kids program. In my kids program, it's all closed fists. But it's the same technique, basically, isn't it? Right? Right hand puts a lid on it, move your head offline, left hand attacks. Okay, so as Gene comes in, if she left side in front and she's trying to hit me with a straight left punch, it's that. Okay, right? I'm moving, I'm not slow motion, I'm not gambling the health of my face on my hand speed. I want both, okay? Meaning I want both the technique and the slip, right? So as she goes here, that's my split, all right? So that's the first technique, split, okay? So thank you, I'll bring you back, okay? Yeah, it's gonna be like that. So everybody's left lead again, right? And the jab is coming in. Second technique, my right hand just cuts the line, is the slide. And I know my fingers got cut off in the shot a moment ago, pardon me. I like to slide into, again, a sungab, okay? There is no difference between a sungab and a buji. They would say sungab in Southeast Asian martial arts. We would say buji in Wing Chun or Junfan trapping. There's no difference. In fact, I forgot to show you last week. I'll make sure I don't forget. I have a martial arts joke. It won't make you fall over laughing, but it is a very important, and I'll make sure I tell you the joke before we end this session, okay? But we're in a left lead. My right hand just cuts that line. And my left hand, I want good boxing form, whether this could be open, I mean, but I'm still, the only thing it can't do is be down here, right? I want this up. Good structure. Even here, like this would be fine, you know, up, ready to help me. Just down here, it does me no good. Okay, so slide. My right hand slide. So when the jab comes in, okay, is what I'm doing is cutting that line. It is not, go slow motion and don't fully extend because you will hit me because I'm showing what not to do, okay? It's not this. This is a trade because this line is open. And I mean, I might be faster, she might be faster, but that's trading. This is, I cut that line into the Sungab. In my kids program, it looks like that. It's just closed fist because I just took 5 minutes to explain the reason I don't teach Sungabs to kids. So I do a Chung Choi because we have this both in Silat or Ponatukin and Jeet Kune Do series that I teach in my kids program, the cross counter series. So that's the second one. Slide. Okay, so you have split, you have slide. Thank you. Okay, third one, and we've talked about the reality of this. For learning, you can kind of do it like that, right? Left hand guides it into the right elbow. Lead hand guides it into the rear elbow. We've looked at this before, though, with a fast jab, the energy is more like that. Like you're just looking to pad it. You're never, I'm not trying to insult any martial art. The odds of you cleanly intercepting and grabbing that jab, even if it's someone with moderate hand speed, are very low. But kind of smacking it into place, absolutely. So that's the Siko, right? That's the next one is the Siko. Okay, so we want to, when we do have a partner available to us, we want to be really careful. That's good. This way I don't have to hurt Gene, but it's got kind of that energy. Flick it out just a little faster. There, like that's where I want to be. Flick it out and bring your hand back. There. Oh, I missed it. If I miss, I miss. Go ahead. There. That's where I want to be. Like catch it and just kind of intercept and guide it in. Okay, and I'm, obviously I'm trying to do that without actually touching her knuckles with my elbow because I don't want to hurt my wife. But that's at least how, the idea. Now freeze it. Like for learning, this is a frozen moment in time. Real application, bring it back. Is boom. That split second is what I'm going for. Okay. And there's a little bit of artifice there on both of our parts. She's not really doing a jab where she wants to cave my face in. And I'm also being really, really, really careful with that technique so that I don't damage her knuckles. Okay? So split, slide, Siko. Right? Or you can demo it like this. Vertical gunte. Again, move your head outside. Right hand puts a lid on it. Left hand just comes up and mouses around the crazy bone. Okay? So here. It doesn't look like much. But it's that, right? One beat, boom, there. I just want that. That's what I'm looking for. But I also don't want to gamble the health of my face on my hand speed. So I want to slip. Slipping to the outside, if it can be done, is always better than, 99.9% of the time, slipping to the outside is better than slipping to the inside. Okay? So that's where I want to be. So that's my vertical gunte. Okay, so that's your fourth technique. I'll bring you back in a few seconds. Okay, gonna be a lot of up and down today. So split, slide, Seiko, vertical gunting, and then it's got the same energy, diagonal gunting. But remember, with diagonal gunting, this freeze, it almost looks like we're freezing into a tonsao, is not a real freeze. Like it's because they're also gonna flick it, boom. So we're just trying to move them. Like what you're trying to, if I'm the person who's attacking you, when that technique is done properly, this is the reaction that you're ending up with. They start here, you're moving, you're shifting them. Usually, again, one of the big benefits of that is so that if they do want to throw the rear hand, that they have to kind of turn back towards you, and that response is computed, is the benefit of the diagonal gunting, okay? I kind of wish this had another name, because usually when we do a gunting, there's going to be a destructive aspect. Here, that's not really the case. It's more like a repositioning. Here, okay? There. That's what I'm looking for. That's my diagonal gunting, okay? And you'll see this in a moment. You know, one of the reasons I definitely keep the diagonal gunting in there, it's excellent for learning the sixth and final basic throw from my curriculum, which is the Kinjit, okay? And I'll explain that to you in a moment, all right? So super slow, split, slide, Seiko, vertical gunting, diagonal gunting. Okay, let's change size, please. Okay, so please split, slide, Seiko, vertical gunting, diagonal gunting. Okay, Southeast Asian hands, that's the name of that section. And even, we have time, even before we get where we're headed, I want you to understand how my curriculum progresses. So you have those, what is it, 5 of those, right? Split, slide, Seiko, vertical, diagonal. You have 5 variables. You learn those in the first levels, yellow Ikit, against somebody in an orthodox lead firing their jab. Okay, very important. And I was actually talking about this just a little bit in the kids section, as it's been explained to me, and this is before my time, in the 80s, when Silat got really popular in the United States, the United States Silat community was really good at doing all their techniques against other Silat players who attacked with like traditional style Silat punches in a southpaw. Okay, but then anytime they had somebody in an orthodox lead and it was like traditional kickboxing type attacks, they as a community, unless it was somebody really high level, that could be a problem. So here, the very first level, we have what Punong Guru Mark Denny, Dog Brothers, what he would call, since I'm dealing with my wife, Jane generic, right? If it's a man, we would say Joe generic. And what do we mean by so-and-so generic? They're an orthodox lead fighter and they're attacking with Western boxing tools or Thai boxing tools, or some of the things that everybody and their mother, even if they don't know how to do them well, that everybody's familiar with because of MMA, right? So again, as it's been explained to me, this is before my time, in the 70s and even like the early 80s, if you're in a self-defense situation with a stereotypical drunken knucklehead, and that drunken knucklehead knows bad martial arts, you're usually fighting boxing, because boxing was what was available. Now it's MMA. Everybody and their mother, even if they can't do a good one, understands the idea of like a double leg takedown and grounding and pounding and stuff like that. So dealing with somebody in a left lead filing, an orthodox lead firing their jab is very important. Second level, and all of you can now get in a right lead, put your right side in front, jab me, split, jab me, slide, jab me, Seiko, jab me, vertical gunting, jab me, diagonal gunting. Okay, so second level of my curriculum, now we put the person in the southpaw, and we want to learn all of what we learned at the first level. We want to add some of that at the second level. Okay. The other thing that we have at the second level is go back to left lead. Now, if we're thinking about Joe or Jane generic, we want to be able to deal with the 1-2 with Southeast Asian hands. Okay, so we might get like we can certainly do, you know, split. I'm sorry, go left, right. Excuse me. Split, split. We can start doubling up. You know, we can go slide, slide. That's actually something you'll see in Thai boxing with boxing glove, like stuff like that's very common to just double it. Then we also start adding things. We're gonna have things like maybe I Seiko to Wampak, okay? Or maybe I split to horizontal gunting, things like that. We're gonna start adding those things in there. So at the second level, Southeast Asian hands, in fact, the benefit of having everything written down, this way I don't have to just try to remember it. Let me make sure I'm giving you all of the variables. Yeah, so the ones that I formally asked for: slide, split, Wampak, and horizontal gunting. So you already know, you already know slide and split, right? So off the jab, pick any of the ones that you already know. When the cross comes, there's my split. Again, do any of the ones that you know here, and there's my slide. So we add those against the rear hands. Change sides with me because I'll be able to see this better. The Wampak is the inside parry. So the one that I really like to teach this off of is the Seiko, okay? Because if I parry with my left and elbow with my right, when the rear hand comes, see, my right hand is free. Inside parry, that's what Wampak means. Then I hit, then I change my hands and I hit again. So whatever I do here, 1, 2, right? That's how I start the Wampak. 1, 2. Eventually, I just want a big old circle of destruction. But that's the way I start it. Parry right, hit left, cover left, hit right. That's the way I start teaching. Because I also teach this to kids. When I teach this to kids, though, it's all knuckle punches. Because I told you before, no sungams. Okay, so, but even kids can pick up parry right, hit left, switch my hands and hit again. That's how we start with the Wampak. The horizontal gunting is that. I know that looks like something you do on the schoolyard, but if you haven't done this technique, this is my right hand basically doing an open-handed angle 1 into my left palm, and my left palm continuing into a Sungab, and then my left hand is going to descend, and I'm going to hit with my right. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Hit with the right, I jab with the left, descend with the left, hit with the right. Excuse me. Okay, that's a horizontal gunting. I do not teach the horizontal gunting to kids because there's no way to make it. I mean, you can try all. I just don't. Okay. So the horizontal gunting, whatever I want here. Okay. Now for training, I'm going open-handed here for training. In reality, it's really nasty. I'm almost like, if you've ever done any kind of leopard paw work in any martial art-ish, I'm taking my knuckles and digging into that bicep, into that eye jab. That's the reality of it. But we train it open-handed for safety, okay? I don't care how big and buff the person's bicep is. That hurts, okay? So whatever you want here, that destruction immediately into the eye jab, and then I'm descending and hitting with a back fist, okay? Or I like a reverse hammer fist for reasons that we've already discussed. Oh, and coincidentally for everybody who's here, since you also take that class, horizontal gunting is our 6th out of 7 entry in the Jeet Kune Do trapping curriculum, because you can already see, right? And I don't want to take up too much time because I'm in Silat, is, whatever I want here. If, don't move. If that scores, it's number 1. If she, parry, if she crosses center line, it's 2 or 6 or 7. If she stops me on center line, it's 3 or 4. And 5, I'm doing an inside lop south, so it doesn't matter, okay? But I digress. That's the additions for Southeast Asian hands going from the first level to the 2nd level. So you know what we might do is that let's do this. So everybody left lead, and you're all working on your own, which is fine. So let me, and maybe there's other people who are going to watch the recording. Let me make this kind of workable for you, for everybody watching on your own. So we're in a left lead. Split, split. Play with that. Okay, right? So right hand puts a lid on it, left hand attacks, left hand puts a lid on it, right hand attacks. Okay? So we're in a left lead. And again, imagine, Joe or Jane generic, and they're firing jab cross from an orthodox lead. That's what we're dealing with. You can also, right hand goes first, slide, slide. Right? And in my curriculum, because I think it's organized despair, pardon me, I don't force you to do all the permutations on the first, period, right? So I don't make you go, if we're splitting the cross, I don't force you to go split, split, slide, split, Seiko split, vertical gunting split, diagonal gunting split, and make you do all those. Like, take the time. Please understand those are all the possible combinations. But like in class, making you, okay, now we're running the, 36 possible combination, it's a waste of time. I'd rather show you conceptually and let you experiment, okay? So we have splitting the rear hand and we have sliding the rear hand. So I'm gonna standardize this for everybody. If your left hand guides the jab into your right elbow, catch the rear hand inside with your right hand and attack with the left. and then just switch your hands and hit again. That's the easiest way to start on the wompak, the inside parry. So Siko against the jab, inside parry with the right and score with the left, and then switch your hands and score again. Right? That's how I like to start everybody on the wompak. Later, when you have it, you can just make it a circle, but that's how I like to start everybody. 1, 2. Inside parry, hit, change your hands and hit. Inside parry, hit, change your hands and hit. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Then just make it a circle. Okay, that's how we progress it. Like but I have a very advanced group here, so I'm going a little faster. That's the wompak. Then, just for sake of it, let's say you split the jab, horizontal gunting to back fist on the cross. Split the jab, horizontal gunting to back fist on the cross, right? So right hand parries, left hand attacks. Right hand rakes the bicep as the left hand goes into the eyes. Then the left hand descends and the right hand hits. That's the horizontal gunting. Okay? That's like seminal Kali JKD type technique from the Inosanto lineage. Okay? So split there, right? And again, you understand by now, you can do whatever you want to do against the jab. We're adding, for somebody who's giving you the 1-2 from an orthodox lead, we're adding the horizontal gunting. Okay, there used to be parry and catch, like parry and but that's too kickboxing-esque. And so I pulled those out. And really, all I'm trying to do now are things that are a little bit more like Southeast Asian hands, the kind of stuff that would get you kicked out of a amateur Western boxing competition, right? Again, nothing wrong with martial athletics, but this is the really nasty, illegal stuff that would get us, kicked out of a Thai boxing match or something like that, okay? So now against the orthodox lead, we have everything, right? We split, slide, Siko, vertical gunting, diagonal gunting. That's just dealing with the jab. Then any of those to a split on the other side. So you pick how you want to deal with the jab. I might slide for this rep, but then when they throw the cross, I'm going to do my split. Okay, so that's what I want you to understand. The second level of my curriculum for Southeast Asian hands, what we're adding is now Joe or Jane generic can give you the 1-2. And you still have options, Southeast Asian hands style options to deal with that. So the first variation to add is splitting the rear hand, right? So I don't, take any of those on the jab side, split against the rear hand, the right hand. And then the next variation is whichever one you want to do against the jab, slide against the cross. Okay. Then the one that I usually like to teach first, and you were already feeling this, is Siko the jab, wompak the cross. Okay. And again, for learning, 1-2. That's the best way. Inside parry with the right, hit left, switch your hands. That's the best way to learn it, broken down. And then later, this is going to make a big circle when you're really comfortable with that. So we have the Wampak. The last addition against the rear hand off the 1-2 is the horizontal gunting. So pick whatever you want against the jab, I don't care. And then practice doing that horizontal gunting in the air. Okay? That's it. And so visual use, in fact, let's do this. Let's do this here. So everybody face your screen. This will be a good review, okay? I'm gonna feed you towards the screen. When I feed you, everybody just split the jab. Ready, go. Boom, okay? I'm gonna feed the jab again. Everybody slide your right hand over my jab, right? Cut that line. Okay, good. Everybody take your left hand and guide my jab into your right elbow. Good, okay? Now, do your vertical gunting against my jab. Ready? Good. Now do your diagonal gunting against my jab. Okay? Now, I'm going to give you nice and slow, just look at it first. I'm going to give you jab cross. Give me split, split. Imagine doing a split entry against both. Split my jab, split my cross. Okay? So, good. And again, you could do any of the 5 variations against the first beat. I've already explained, I'm not going to force you to go through all the possible permutations. It's not worth the time. But understand it's like dealer's choice, right? It's up to you how you want to deal with the jab. The variable we're working right now is what you're doing against the cross, though. Now I want you to slide, slide, okay? So slide against the jab, slide against the cross. Nice. So 2 out of 4 variables for dealing with the cross. We have the split and we have the slide. Now I want you to Seiko my jab into the Wampak for my cross, okay? So you Seiko my jab, elbow my jab, and then you inside parry on my cross. Nice job, okay? And the last one is whatever you want to do against my jab, but on my cross, I want you to hit that horizontal gunting, okay? So whatever you want against this jab, and then again, horizontal gunting. All right. And then the only other thing would be change leads real quickly. Right lead. Now this is my jab. So let me see you split. Split my jab. Let me see you slide over top my jab. Let me see your right hand guided into your left elbow. Seiko. Let me see you parry with the left and vertical gunting with your right. Good. And then let me see your diagonal gunting. Same hands. Very nice. Okay, excellent. So where we want to go is Southeast Asian hands into the 6 basic throws. Before I get there, I'm going to bring Gene back in. Okay. Now I promised I would do this, and I don't want another week to go by because I know I said that I would do it last week. You probably will not laugh at this, but this is very important. Okay. Because this is my martial arts joke. But if you understand this, you understand something very important. Okay. So you're going to just freeze your jab out there. You're not even really trying to. Okay. All right. So I'm in Pontukan or Silat right now, everybody, and I'm doing split entry to Sungab towards the eyes. That's the technique I'm freezing. Okay. In a moment, I'm going to go all the way to China, and from Southeast Asia, I'm going to go to China, and I'm going to change this to Pak Loi Buji Da. Okay? On 3. 1, 2, 3. That's it. That's my joke. I told you you wouldn't laugh. They're identical. It's the same. There's no difference. So Southeast Asian hands, they call this split entry and Sungab. Sungab the eyes or Sungab the throat, wherever you're going for. Wing Chun, okay. Pak, slapping hand. Loi, inside. Buji, this is my finger jab. Da, hit, because the syntax is different. So use the slapping hand, hit on the inside with the finger jab. There's no difference. Almost like all these arts are connected or something. Okay, so I get being proud of your instructor. I get being proud of your lineage. I get you love your school. You love your academy. You think your logo looks better than the logo of the person teaching the same style 50 miles away. I get all of that. Bruce Lee, I know I'm in Silat, but Bruce Lee's real gift to us, handed down through Guru Dan, is that we get to examine all of this today, and depending on our state of mind, we get to decide what we want to embrace. And that stupid joke that I just told you, that's very important to understand, because there are people in the Silat community and then in the Wing Chun community who aren't ready to hear that joke. We have nothing to do with those other, our art is special and we're blah, blah. That's one kind of mentality. The other mentality, there's only so many ways to attack the human body. We all have 2 arms and 2 legs, and you know, if we don't have more than that. We might have like a disability, but we don't have 3 or 4 arms with which to express our art. So there's a lot of crossover, and something that's always been really cool about being an Inosanto person, as long as you're not a jerk, you have a little bit of carte blanche to be like a martial arts ambassador. All right. And what I'm more about is, as it's been modeled for me, here's the curriculum, here's the way that I teach it. Depending on your goals, you're going to decide how you want to embrace it or discard it. I know why I teach what I teach and why I teach it in the particular order that I do. And that's what I've been trying to kind of give you during this class. Hopefully you see the method to my madness. We start in an orthodox lead because we're not thinking about fighting another Silat person. We're thinking about fighting Joe or Jane generic out of an orthodox lead. Then in the second level, we're learning the same 5 techniques in the southpaw, but we're also learning, well, what happens when Joe or Jane generic throws the 1-2? How can we, within Southeast Asian hands, how can we deal with that problem? Okay, which now brings us into the basic 6 as far as our throws. Now I'm gonna approach this way, the reality that's actually in front of me, as opposed to the reality that as much as I would love to have you all in an academy space right now, this is what we got. And I'm grateful that you're here. So let's make the most out of it. Everybody get in a left lead, okay? Beset Dalam, or Silhig, leg sweep in front of the body. So I'm just gonna standardize this so that we all get it. Your opponent's throwing their jab. You're gonna split entry. Your left hand's gonna grab their wrist. Your right hand is gonna brace on their tricep, and you're gonna step in with your right foot, almost taking a straight arm bar to get them basically hunched over with you in front of them, okay? Just freeze for 1 second. This way you can see my feet. Okay, so I'm holding that straight arm bar and I'm standing now in the same direction, basically facing the same direction that they are. They're just hunched over behind me. My right leg does the silhig. That's the back sweep, the leg trip. And I'm gonna go get their other foot to complete the sweep. Since I'm gonna go get their other foot and I know I'm gonna lose a beat, I'm gonna knee them in the face and then step that foot in. And then if you take the inside of your right foot and bring it towards your left foot, that would complete the sweep. Okay, and again, I wish for so many things. I'm sorry I have to keep adjusting the angles on the keyboard, upper body and lower body, but this way you get to kind of see it, right? So we're in a left lead. Our imaginary opponent's facing us, right? They're also in a left lead. They jab, we split. We circle around and grab their wrist and we step in with our right foot in front of them, almost in a straight armbar situation, to get them essentially hunched over, bent over behind us. And we have to practice stepping in with the right foot in front of their leg. And I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. Right from here, I silhig back or beset back. I knee them in the face en route to stepping in behind to hook their other foot. And then I sweep that supporting foot towards my left foot. Okay, so I'm gonna stay on the lower body focus. Okay, everybody left lead. I know maybe you can't see my hands. Do your split entry in the air. Imagine your left hand grabs their wrist, your right hand goes on their tricep. You step in front of them, holding that straight arm bar. You do a leg sweep in front of their body. You knee their face en route to going and hooking the other foot. And then you sweep that other foot towards yourself. Okay? So what I'm gonna bring Jean in, and Jean's she's gonna give you her back for just a minute. So literally stand here, okay? Left lead, jab me. Okay, so see, here's me stepping in, and here's this straight arm bar, right? And I'm doing this very gently. I'm in front, and that's what I meant. This is what, just stay where you're at. You have to practice. You have to practice stepping in. See this foot in front, not behind them, because you won't have time to circle that back around. Here's my silhig. I'm gonna go get that other foot, but I'm gonna knee en route. See, and then if she supports with her hand, that's beautiful, because I'm gonna sweep this out. And in actuality, very often we'll stomp on this, knee the face as we exit, because in Southeast Asia, somebody else is coming. That's the mindset that we have. It's usually not one-on-one. I've got to drop this person so that I can deal with the next person. That's the mindset, okay? Now for practice, come back over here. Jean's gonna give you her back again just for a moment so that we get the correct angles. I'm doing a split entry, which I know you can't see. And now I've just forced her into position. Again, my foot's in front. Here's my silhig. Where we'll usually take it to is knee, step, and then we just terminate the rep there and let the person come back. That way, the person doesn't have to take 1,000,001 falls. On the high line, okay, and you've seen it with the proper angulation, jab me, here to this. And now I'm all, come up just a little bit. Now I'm all ready. I know you can't see my leg. There would be my leg trip, and I would knee in and take, you can stand up, that supporting foot. Okay, so there are 6 basics where next week we're gonna start with the basics, because you all have the hands, all right? And I know this, I think it makes me sound like such a school teacher, educator type. If you have the time, please go back and watch the previous class recordings because I've taught them. I'm not saying you have everything that you need, and I'm happy to admit this. I think I've gotten to be a more effective digital martial arts teacher as the weeks have gone on, certainly better than the first week. I don't think that's a statement of ego, but go back, take a look at the prior classes, because next week we're just gonna jump right in. That's technique 1, Beset Dalam. I like the Indonesian terms because the Indonesian terms have orientation. In front or behind or inside or outside. The Filipino terms, no offense, they don't have that orientation. So like technique 1 is the silhig in front of the body. Technique 4 is the silhig behind the body. In Filipino nomenclature, we'd call that silhig. Whereas in Indonesian, you get Beset Dalam or Beset Luar. Okay, that's a little bit more my base. And I'll end on this for Silat. I like to teach the terminology. I'm not showing off. It was taught to me. If you can memorize it, awesome. If you can't memorize it in English. Technique 1 in English is a leg sweep. This motion, that. Once we got the person down, leg sweep in front of the body. That's technique 1. I know there's more moving parts to it than just that, but that's the focus of technique 1, is that leg sweep in front of the body. Okay? If you can't, silhig and beset, and if you can't memorize the terms, memorize it in English. If memorizing in English is, for whatever reason, giving you trouble, make up your own name if it helps you remember it. And then please, by all means, share those with me. And if it's something cool, I'm going to start using your term in my teaching, but I'll always give you credit. Okay? I have 3 or 4 techniques that are in my curriculum where my students have come up with some super cool name, for like a nickname for the technique, and I with permission, I use that terminology, but I always give my student credit because I don't like any kind of theft, especially intellectual theft. But there you go. Okay. All right. So, anyways, let's end Silat here. Chinese, Filipino, Thai, Indonesian, French and Dog Brothers, and Japanese. And this will take 30 seconds. I got to do it. If you are interested in formalizing your distance Silat training relationship with me, please go to Stoops, OMALC.com. That URL will be in the YouTube video so you can find that. All right. And we're going to end this